As a disclaimer, this video should not be taken as gospel or as reloading data. This is a research project and care is taken not to overload the shells. Please do your own research before attempting to reload ammunition. So I decided to do another 410 load. And this particular one, what I'm trying to mimic is a Hornady critical defense style 410 load, and they've done some that have a couple of balls and then what is essentially a hollow point slug on top of it, or I think they actually used a 40 caliber or a 410 caliber slug. Now the actual Hornady loads actually have two balls of triple-aught buck with a 41 caliber flex tip FTX slug on top, and they're rated at a pretty low velocity. They do say that you do not need any rifling on this, but again, the low velocity that they specified these at, 750, is much less than the ones I'm loading. However, the Hornady critical defense triple defense rounds are also rated for a pistol, so they come in around 750 feet per second, but shot out of a shotgun barrel, a longer barrel would probably come in a little over 1,000. Mine are going to be rated closer to what a slug or buckshot would be, around 1,280. What I'm doing is using about a pre-measured amount of smokeless powder. Lil gun powder, which should be about 1,280 feet per second. It's the same load that I use for my 4-ball triple-aught buck. Putting a spacer on the bottom of the wad. Then I'm going to drop in 2 triple-aught buck balls and a Hornady 9mm hollow point slug, which is, again, .355 caliber, which is exactly the same diameter as the triple-aught buck balls, and it goes right to the top of the wad, so it's pretty far down inside there. I'm actually going to stack a few more of these foam pieces. I'll probably put 3 of them in on the bottom of the next one, because I want to be able to see the top of the slug, but I want to see how this works. So this particular one, I'm not really going to show. This is what I'm loading in there. So this is my Claybuster wad. I have 3 of these little pieces of foam. I think they're 7/16 diameter. 3 of them together is about 3/8 of an inch. Then I have 2 triple-aught buck balls and a 115 grain Hornady hollow point 9mm slug. So this should be an interesting load. And this is what it looks like when you stack it inside of that Claybuster wad. I have 3 of those little foam discs on the bottom to support the 2 balls of triple-aught buck, and then that 9mm hollow point. They all fit nicely inside that wad, and I'm hoping that they'll all exit the barrel straight. And I also loaded a couple of them with the 9mm slug inverted so that the point is resting on the ball. I don't know which of these is going to work better, or if they're going to work at all. The Hornady slugs say that they're only good for about 7 yards when shot out of a pistol. If you're curious about the weight of this load, my standard 4-ball buck is 255.2 grains, and that's just your standard load. And my modified load is 242.5, so just about 13 grains lighter. And what I'm doing is I'm using either Brennecke or Super X 3-inch shells, and I'm cutting them down to 2.5, so I get a nice clean edge on the top of it. Makes it a little bit easier to roll crimp rather than one that's already been fired. So I'm just cutting this down. I have this little piece of pipe that I've been using. I cut it down to the correct size to get a 2.5-inch shell, and I just use that as a guide to cut my hull down. This is a Brennecke hull, so let's cut the hull down. Again, using an appropriate primer. A predetermined amount of Lil gun powder for this load. A Claybuster wad. This time I'm going to put 3 of these foam discs in here, so that gives me about, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch, something like that. I'm going to push those down into the wad. I'm going to put 2 triple-aught buckshot rounds, which are a .350 caliber, and then I'm going to put 1 9mm hollow point in there, which is a .355 caliber. press it down into the shell. This time I'm going to put a regular cardboard overshot wad on it, and this time roll crimp again. And nice and tight in that shell. This time I'll just put a cross on the top again. That's a handsome looking round, same length as a standard bird shot. So we'll see how these work. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how this works out. I will take these out to the range and give them a shot and see how they go. Thanks for watching Cranky Gun Reviews. Have a great night.